Over the moon, emotional process progress. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1474 of What Ship to Now, documenting the journey, business journey, as I transition from the brick and mortar business world to the online world and corporate world to the online world and back and forth. So today for the annual challenge, we're talking about the emotional, let's grab our little form, emotional process for progress. So we're on the P of our SOAP framework, and we're talking about, with respect to emotions, this segment, are applying the SOAP framework to an emotion. I picked frustration, which I've done before, but irritation and impatience, because I found that over the last few weeks, as my granddaughter's getting older and older, I get a little impatient or irritated with some of the baby antics. They're pretty funny. And so I'm like, well, do I really want to be irritated or impatient, or do I want to just go with the flow? And I want to go with the flow. So I picked that, and I've been working through that with the SOAP framework. And what we're talking about today is how do we identify our emotional, how we handle emotions process so that we can make progress on it. Because once we document our process, we can look at it, we can say, okay, well, is this how I want my process to actually be? Or are there places I can improve it? Are there little things I can do to make my process better and automatically make progress in the area of my emotional well-being? Well, of course there are. So one of those things that I added to my process, which I actually just started to do my process diagram and document that process. I didn't finish it, but I did start it as part of the challenge today, and I will finish it today. But one of my steps that I added is defining what a different emotion or feeling actually I want it to be for me, not, what other people define it as, like impatience or irritation or frustration. It only matters how I define those things. It doesn't matter how everyone else on the planet defines them. It's one of the things I love about our lives is we actually just have to choose what we want things to mean. We can make them work for us. A long time ago, I learned that I was feeling frustrated a lot, like all the time. Every day, I would work myself into a little stressed out frenzy because I didn't think things were the way they should be. My definition of frustration was if anything wasn't exactly as I expected it to be right now. Talk about a disempowering definition, right? So over time, I changed my definition of frustration, and it is almost impossible for me to feel frustrated these days, except for with respect to technical changes on the computer and things that I can't figure out. I get frustrated after a certain point of not being able to figure something out. What I need to do is tweak that definition so that it's really, really hard for me to feel frustrated by anything that I can't figure out or technical changes. So we are documenting our process. That's our tool today. And we'll use that tool, right? The ability to document our process is something we can use in many areas and aspects of our life. If you own a business or have a job, you ought to be documenting the processes of how you do things. Why? So you can train somebody else how to do it, or you can pass it off to someone else, and you can spend the time doing the things that you really like to do, that you love to do, instead of doing the things that you just think you have to do, right? I have outsourced a lot of the things that have to get done, right? There's things in our life that have to get done, but I don't have to be the one that actually does them. I don't have to be the one that goes into the grocery store and does my grocery shopping. I think COVID has taught everybody that we have the ability to outsource things that we used to spend a lot of time on, and we can reclaim that time for things we'd rather be doing, like spending time with our grandchildren or with our family. So emotional progress was our focus for the annual challenge today. Now, our idiom for Supersize Your Business was over the moon. And I, of course, shared my favorite children's book, Goodnight Moon, and The Cow Jumping Over the Moon, because Hey Diddle Diddle, the Cat and the Fiddle, or Hi Diddle Diddle as it was originally known, is where this idiom or expression actually came from in the 16th century. So this baby is old. This is an old expression and idiom that means that we're very happy or delighted with something. So I talked about, with respect to supersizing and growing our business, what are you happy and delighted with? Focus on that, because then you can create more of that in your business. So often and so much of our lives and world is focused on the negative, and we need to find ways every day to be thinking differently, to be flipping the switch on that and turning it around so that everybody around us, let them focus on what they want. Let them be negative. Let them think about the things that aren't working for them and create more of that in their life. But let's choose not to participate and focus on the things that work for us so that we can create more of them in our life. It took me a long time to figure that out, but once I did, life got a whole lot easier and a whole lot more fun. So over the moon, good night moon. What are you over the moon about right now in your business or in your life? I'd love to have you share that in the comments below. Yesterday, I did feel a little bit frustrated on a technical thing and on the computer. I was trying to figure out, of course, how to do certain things with social media. And I always like to, I'm continually improving my process of being engaged online. I want to minimize the amount of time I have to spend, but I want to maximize the impact that I'm having. So I create my videos in the morning, and that's about the only time I'm ever on social media. I actually record on Facebook Live. That'll probably change because Facebook's getting really, really frustrating as they're doing their meta changes and automatically changing some of our pages and groups and how we can interact. And I've already found that I have to do some things on my phone, and then they'll change that and make that not work. And then like for 3 days, I couldn't post any videos to my stories. And now all of a sudden yesterday it came back and I can post on my phone to my stories. Things like that happen all the time. So I'm sure down the road, I'll be switching off of Facebook onto another recording platform and sharing mechanism. But for right now, I use Facebook. Why? Because it's cheap, it's easy, it's free. Mostly because it's easy and free, and all I need is a phone and an internet connection, and I can record my videos live. And this week I discovered I'm tweaking with and playing on my phone. I can share to pages. I can cross-post to pages. I don't think it appears live on those pages. And in one of my pages, my Supersize Your Business, I can share to a couple of groups. But yesterday, what I was frustrated about is I was trying to figure out how to share my Sharon Horne-Ellstrom page to the Get Up and Go Challenge private group, because I want to, and I'm adding that to the guides. Guide 15 on the Get Up and Go Facebook page, private Get Up and Go Challenge group, is where I'm putting all of the daily videos for this year's annual challenge. And I want to be able to do that automatically, but I honestly admit I didn't figure it out yesterday. I couldn't figure it out. So I'll continue to do it the long way that I'm doing it, using both my phone and my computer. But I'd really like to, by March, figure out how to do it all on my phone so that I'm traveling in March, and I just want to continue to simplify and make things easier on myself, because I like things to be more efficient and more effective all the time. So I have time to spend on things that I'd rather be doing than interacting on social media or posting. But I love social media from we can engage with our people all over the world almost instantaneously. And I think that that's amazing. It's kind of like when cell phones first came out. I remember when I had a pager, and it was so annoying because the pager would go off and you would have to find a phone and then call someone. Well, now our cell phones are immediate. And so when you get a message or a ding or a phone call, there's this sense of urgency to answer the phone immediately. And I've finally given myself permission. Hey, just because the phone rings or buzzes, you don't have to look at it. You don't have to answer it. Especially if I'm doing something, if I'm engaged with somebody else, I definitely would not do that. But otherwise, if I'm working on something for myself, I used to let myself get interrupted, and now I just block off time, and I'm like, nope, phone. If it's an emergency, they'll call several times, and if my phone rings, well, my ex-husband used to do this, and it drove me nuts. He would call and call and call me till I answered, even if I was busy, which was super annoying. But don't have that husband anymore, so I don't have to worry about it, right? Single is awesome. All right. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, hit me up. I have got a training and 4 appointments today. So if I can help you in any way, ask. Remember, just ask, and I will get to you as soon as I can. Don't get mad if I don't answer immediately, but I will respond. I always respond. Short of when I had COVID and was sick for one day, I will respond. I will get back to you. All right. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, see you tomorrow.